Ever feel like you're fluent in decimal but fraction are speaking a completely different language? You are not alone. The truth is, they are not different languages. They are just two different symbols for the same value. And today, I'm going to give you the simplest way of how to convert a decimal to fraction and fraction to decimal. Welcome back to Think Mathic. Let's understand how to convert a decimal to fraction. For example, decimal that is given to us is 0.2. We have already studied in our last video how to read the decimal number. So 0.2 can also be read as 2 tenths. Since it is written 2 tenths, so 2 is at the tenths place, so I will write as 2 by 10. Now, let's take a second example, that is 0.35, which we read it as 35 hundredths. Since the word hundredths is written, so it will be written as 35 by 100. In this, what we are actually doing, we are just writing the number written over here as 0.2 can also be read as 2. And since 2 is at the tens place, so we are writing 10 is in the denominator. Similarly, in 0.35, since 35 is the number, so we are writing it 35. And 5 is at the hundredths place, so we have written 100 over here. Let's take another example. For example, the number is 1.37. Now we will read this as 1 and 37 hundredths. Since first method is to write the number, the complete number as a numerator. So I will write it as 137. And next step is to see the place of the last digit in your number, that is 7. So 7 is at the hundredths place. So we will write it as 100. Similarly, let's take for the another number, that is 7.134. So we will read it as 7 and 134 thousandths. So here 4 is at the thousandths place. First, we are going to write the complete number in the numerator, that is 7,134. And since 4 is at the thousandths place, so we will write it as 1000. We also have another way of converting a decimal number to fraction. You just have to see the number of digits after the decimals. For example, if I take it as 2.34, now we have 2 digits after the decimal. The first step is to write the entire number as a numerator. So I will write as 234. And since I have 2 digits after the decimals, so I will put 2 zeros and then I will put 1. So it will become 234 by 100. Now we come to the next step, how to convert a fraction to decimal. This is the first method of converting a fraction to decimal. To convert, we need to have a denominator as 10, 100 and 1000. Because if we have a denominator as 10, 100 and 1000, we can easily convert any fraction to a decimal. Now, for example, this fraction is given to us and the question is to convert this fraction into decimal. Now, how to convert it? So we want our denominator as 10, 100 and 1000. So in this, we are going to convert our denominator as 100. So what I should multiply with 20 to get 100? As we know that when we multiply 20 with 5, we will get at 100. The same number needs to be multiplied with the numerator as well, and we will get it as 35 by 100. See, here we are doing nothing but just converting a fraction to its equivalent fraction having a denominator as 100. Now, since we have 100 as a denominator, that means 5 should be at the hundredths place. So the decimal number will be 0.35. Isn't that easy? Let's take another example. For example, 13 by 25. We want to follow the same step, that we need to convert our denominator into 10, 100 and 1000. Since 25 cannot be reduced into 10, so we will simply try to convert it into 100. We know that 25 when multiplied with 4 will give us 100. So the same number needs to be multiplied with the numerator also. Now we know that 13 multiplied by 4 is 52. So here 2 needs to be at the hundredths place because we have a denominator as 100. The answer is going to be 0.52. Now let's try with the another fractions. As we have already studied that we need to convert our denominator as 10, 100 or 1000. But in this case, 15 can neither be converted into 10, nor 100, nor 1000. So what to do in that case? So in such cases, you will convert this fraction into the lowest form. So we need to find out a common factor that can divide your numerator and denominator also. As we know, 3 is the common factor. So we'll divide the numerator and the denominator with 3 and we will get a fraction as 4 by 5. Now this 4 by 5 can be easily converted to a denominator having 10, 100 or 1000. So this can be converted to an equivalent fraction having a denominator 10. We know that 5 times 2 is 10. So the same number needs to be multiplied with the numerator and we will get as 8 by 10. 8 by 10 means that 8 should be at the 10th place. So the answer is going to be 0.8. Now let's take another example, 45 by 60. Now here also we can see that 60 cannot be converted into 10, 100 and 1000 directly. So when the fraction is not able to convert the denominator into any of these, we will first convert this fraction into the lowest form. So we will find out the common factor of numerator and denominator. As we can see, the 5 is a common factor. So let's divide it by 5 and we will get it as 9 by 12. Now 9 by 12 is also not in the lowest form and even 12 cannot be converted into 10, 100 and 1000. So we'll further reduce it and we will divide both the numerator and the denominator with 3, which is the common factor. So we'll get 3 by 4. 4 can be easily converted into 100. 4 times 25 makes it 100. So 3 will be also multiplied with 25. So our answer is going to be 75 by 100. Now 5 should be at the 100th place. So my answer is going to be 0.75. Now we are going to study a different method of converting a fraction to a decimal. The single most concept to remember is this: a fraction is just a division problem, which is waiting to happen. So a fraction like 3 by 4 literally means 3 is divided by 4. The numerator, the number on top, it always goes inside your division symbol. That means if I want to divide, my 3 will go always inside. That is my numerator. And the denominator, that is number on the bottom, will always stay out. That means 4 is my divisor. So we can understand that numerator is actually my dividend and denominator is my divisor. So fraction is nothing but a simple division. Let's work through an example using this fraction 3 by 4. So let's try to divide it. 3 will come inside, 4 will be outside. Now, of course, we have to see which number will be the closest to 3, which is smaller, but we do not have any number. So we will write it as 4, zeros are 0 and subtract and we'll get 3 as the answer. Now, how to continue the division? We have to continue our division till the time we get the remainder as 0. So what we are going to do? We are going to add a 0 over here and a decimal point in our question. Now the 0 will be bring down and it becomes 30. Now again we need to find out the closest smaller number to 30. So 4 times 7 is equal to 28. And when we subtract, we get as a 2 as a remainder. But again, since the remainder is not 0, so we'll carry forward our division and we'll add another 0 to it. And then it becomes 20. When it becomes 20, we know that 4 times 5 is 20. And we got our remainder 0 over here. So our final answer is going to be 0.75. I'll also show you that we'll get the same answer when we use the first method that I taught you just a few minutes before. That is 3 by 4. We need to form an equivalent fraction having a denominator as 10, 100 and 1000. So I will convert my denominator as 100. 4 times 25 is 100. Again, 3 times 25 makes 75. So 5 needs to be at the 100th place. So its answer is going to be 0.75. You just have to remember that in your division, whenever we hit a 0, we need to stop. Not every division ends nicely in 0. Let's look at the famous fraction 1 by 3. Setting up our division. So here 1 will come inside and 3 will be outside. So 3 zeros are 0 and then we'll get 1. Since the remainder is not 0 over here, we will add another 0 in our dividend and bring it down and a decimal at the quotient. It becomes 10. Now 3 threes are 9. Subtract 1, again 0, again 3 on the top and it becomes 9. This will go on forever. It is called a repeating decimal. To show you are a math pro, you don't write infinite 3. You just write 0.3 with a line over 3. So, this line is actually known as a vinculum or a repeating bar. Since the 3 is repeating again and again, so we will draw a line on the top which is known as a repeating bar or a vinculum. So, if your remainder ever repeats, you know you have a repeating decimal. Just place the bar over the digit or the digit that repeats. That's all. Remember, the simple rule of fraction is just division. Numerator in, denominator out. With this skill, you can confidently convert any fraction you see into a decimal in seconds. Hit that like button if the video helped you. Think about math little differently and subscribe to Think Mathic for more easy math tutorials.